I'm Brea and welcome to Alcohol Chooses My TBR for the month of November. And if you're new here and this is the first time watching my video, Alcohol Chooses My TBR is literally exactly what it sounds like. This is my TBR game that I do monthly. So feel free to hop out and go to my August TBR where I kind of talk about the rules for this game, but also you can just kind of follow along in this video and I think you'll kind of get the gist of the game. It's pretty self-explanatory. So if you watched October's TBR game, you know that I really had a rough go of it. The dice was not in my favor. Let's just get into the November rolls and hope that they were a little nicer to me than October. We're gonna click on six-sided die and we're gonna roll a 2. Okay, so as you saw for that first roll, I got cocktail, which thank God I just didn't get shot again. That's all I really cared about. And that first roll led us to the prompt, been on my TBR too long, which really is most of the books on my TBR. So I really had a lot to choose from. But one book that I know has been sitting on there essentially since 2 Octobers ago is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. And so the back of this just says, 10 years ago, Ricky, Gabe, Lewis, and Cassidy shot some elk. It happens every year. It's been happening forever, so this is the way that it's always been. Now, a decade later, these men are being stalked themselves, hunted, if you will, bound to their heritage, bound by society, and trapped in the endless expanses of the landscape. These men and their children must face the ferocious spirit that is coming from them one at a time. So I've read one other book by Stephen Graham Jones, which was The Only Good Indians. No, that's this book. Hold up, let's rewind. So I read one other book by Stephen Graham Jones, and that was The Night of the Mannequins, and that was a short book, but his writing does tend to be very eerie, and it does kind of make you think. So I'm really excited to get into this one. I've heard really good reviews, and kind of keeping on that eerie theme, I heard this one is really kind of freaky. And I always say this, that I really don't like to fuck with books that talk about spirits. However, I always tend to enjoy those the most. I don't know why, but I'm excited to get into this for the month of November. All right, and so roll number 2 is going to determine what type of mixer are we getting, in this cocktail. So we have a couple options, so let's go ahead and go over to roll number 2 to see what I got. Blank cards is just dealer's choice, so I'll get to decide. $12-sided die. Let's see. A 3. Ooh, which means it's my choice. All right, and so as you guys see, I got Bartender's Choice, which I've never pulled before. So that means I get to pick what mixer that I get to go in my cocktail, which is super exciting because the possibilities are endless. But the prompt that I got for that roll was a book with a 2-word title. So when I was looking at my shelves, I was like, I can go a couple ways about this. I can either include the words like a, the, some of those words in the 2-word title, or I could, not include those and then do kind of technically a 3-word title. But I decided just to include the words a, the, etc. So I decided to pick up The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. So this is another book that has actually been on my TBR for a little while. I know that it was kind of really popular maybe a year ago, And this is also an author that I've read from before. So I read The Silent Patient by this author, and I believe I gave The Silent Patient 4 out of 5 stars. I feel like the book was well paced. His books aren't very long. I think they're like the perfect length for thrillers, and it just gives me what I needed it to give at the end. So I'm hoping that The Maidens is very similar. And it says, a spellbinding tale of psychological suspense, weaving together Greek mythology, murder, and obsession. All right, so what I know about The Maidens is that it's definitely like a dark academia type of vibe. It follows like a professor at Cambridge and this like secret society called the Maidens. But then some murders start to happen on campus, and I believe like the professor, you know, has some guilt surrounding surrounding those murders. But I'm excited to get into this one. I do typically like dark academia books, so that combined with the fact that I have read from Alex Michaelides before, I'm super excited to get into this for the month of November. All right, so the last roll for this game is going to determine if I get, you know, some extras in this cocktail, or if we're just having a regular well drink. Okay, you know, I can have a good time either way. So let's go ahead and see what I rolled. All right, so I rolled no extras, so we are having a well drink tonight, which, you know what, I think is really gonna hit for me. You know, long week at work, you know, you just really want the alcohol to be forward sometimes. But the prompt that I got for no extras was a really interesting one, which was a magical, extinct, or imaginary creature. So I feel like that's pretty broad. You know, that could be ghosts, that could be monsters, that could just be like actual creatures. So the book that I decided to pick for this prompt was The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, and I really hope that I'm pronouncing that right, because I literally just tried to say it like 5 different times before I said it on camera, and I'm probably still wrong. The Daughter of Dr. Moreau. But unlike the other 2 books, I've actually never read anything by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I did have the opportunity to go to like a book signing and an author talk that she had a few months ago, where she talks about this book in particular. So I'm actually really excited to get into this. But from what I know about The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, is that this is a historical drama that is reimagining the island of Dr. Moreau. And it is set in a 19th century Mexico. And if you're not familiar with Dr. Moreau, he is essentially this mad scientist who creates these like hybrid animal creature things. And in this book in particular, they are human and animal hybrids. It's not a very long book, but I've heard fantastic things about it, so I'm excited that I get to read this in the month of November. All right, so here is my TBR for the month of November. And so while you guys are watching a montage of me making my cocktail, let's just talk about reading goals for a second, because we are getting down to the wire. We have 2 months left of the year, and I am very behind on my reading goal right now. So I'm hoping that I can get through these books in a quick, fast, and a hurry manner so that I can try to reach my reading goal. But let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of the books that I mentioned in this video. And if not, what are you reading for the month of November? And as always, if you made it to the end of this video, you are my absolute favorite, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.